I'm kind of whispering because it's awkward to talk because it's so quiet in here. Solino and I are about to change my peg tube. It's due to be changed every 3 months when you just have a peg tube. When I had my GJ, I would go every 6 months, and I couldn't change my GJ out at home. I had to go to interventional radiology. But now, with the peg tube, it's much easier because I can just pull it out and put in a new one myself. But
what about the syringe?
I lost my syringe. So the first step is you take the water out of the balloon. The balloon holds the tube in, and you access the water that goes into the balloon right here. And when you put water in that port, it blows the balloon up and it keeps it in your stomach. So to take it out, you have to remove the water.
You didn't have very much in there.
And my tube is acting like it was about to fall out. Which this is probably why. Because I only have 3 ml of water.
So did you want to carry on? And did you want to continue this since the culprit was probably this?
Yes, it was due to be changed anyways.
Okay. Okay, that's all.
There's a little bit trying to come out.
That's just air.
Yeah. My balloon only had 3 ml of water in it, and it's supposed to have what,
up to 10.
At least 6 is how my normal is.
Yeah, you can have up to 10, but yeah, you have right there at 3. I like to lubricate it. Just a little bit of water.
So to stick the new one in, you just feed it through, see if it's a bit sore. And it's not going.
You alright?
Mm-hmm.
It's going in now. There it goes.
The part where the balloon is at is the worst part. So now we fill the syringe up with water.
Alright. Do you want to do it? You want me to do it?
You can do it.
How much you want me to put in there?
I'd put about 8.
7 mLs. That's the minimum size. So you see it's right there, 7 to 10. So. Yeah, now we just gotta kind of pull back and. You alright?
Yeah. I think. Let's see.
Because you were at 2 before. Now we're only at 4. There's 2 right there.
So then you tighten it up against the skin.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Because you're basically trying to sandwich it against your belly and just.
So, there you go. That is how you change a peg tube.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people will try to add saline to the balloon to fill it up.
That's a mistake there.
And you don't want to do that. Like, although the saline flushes look perfectly convenient because they're already filled 10 mLs and you don't have to do anything, it can cause the saline crystallizes inside that balloon. And when it crystallizes, it can get stuck in there or pop the balloon, and that is why you don't want to do that.
Looks like a booger.
Okay, now it's recording out. That was inside of me. But half of that was like sticking out of my stoma.
Half of the balloon?
Mm-hmm.
To this portion right here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You want to inflate a little bit of it to show them what that looks like?
Right, okay.
This is 10
Okay.
mLs, so.
So this is what happens when you put water in the balloon. It blows it up.
And that's about max capacity right there is 10 mLs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
And my balloon wasn't even all wonky.
Then when you deflate it,
It sucks it back out.
Just like that.
It's
Probably
kind
a
of
good thumbnail right there.
it's kind of gross looking, but and the water, like, although I put 7 mLs of water in my balloon, and now when I change it, there's only 3. Sometimes some water just evaporates somehow from the balloon.
It's somewhat permeable, so it can.
Despite there not being holes or anything in that particular balloon. Hi, Tucker Brown. Teddy, what are you doing? Aww. Love. We left home for the first time. I went to go put my little seedlings out in the sun to train them for a couple of hours, and
Mama told her not to.
you told me not to because they'd get wind blown.
Yeah, I told you don't lift it too. I told you that yesterday as well.
I had my backpack on as always, and then I went to lift the seedling tray, and when I went to go place the seedling tray down, I had this very sharp pain in my back, and now it really hurts to move, to bend, to do anything. I'm having tingling and pressure down my leg and in the bladder area. So I called my orthopedic office, and the orthopedic office was closing, but they said that I needed to get to the emergency ortho clinic within so many minutes. So here I am. The doctor here wasn't even sure they were going to see me because they don't deal with lower back problems, or some of the doctors don't, but
No, it's a neurosurgeon thing.
anyways, they're seeing me. My ortho office just wanted to make sure I haven't had spinal fractures because of my history of being on long-term high-dose steroids since 2015. I'm kind of whispering because it's awkward to talk because it's so quiet in here. But I'm getting labs at my oncologist's office for the first time in a month. And now they're restricting patient visitors. So I am alone. I have a telemed appointment with the doctor tomorrow, but right now it's just labs to check my liver functions, my IgG level, and that sort of thing. I haven't blogged or updated because of my back. I've just been down and out. I haven't been able to carry anything or even lug my backpack around. He thought that perhaps I have a hairline fracture in my spine, but those cannot be visualized through an x-ray. It requires an MRI, and because of the pandemic, we cannot pursue that imaging right now. We would just prefer to see how I do for the few weeks of rest and ice and heat, rather than exposing me to the hospital to get the MRI. So he thought that it could either be the hairline fracture, which is what he assumes it is, or a disc problem. But I'm not exactly presenting fully like I have a disc problem. So we're leaning more towards the fracture. And so I haven't been able to bend without it causing shocking pain. I can move my leg in a certain position and it'll cause tingling in my heel, but he said that it would be at L4 and L5, whatever the problem is. I left my first alone appointment during this whole pandemic, and it was desolate in there. Everyone say hi to Teddy Graham, chilling in the back,
He got to come.
looking all cute.
He cried when you got out of the car and he thought I was going to leave him.
Aww. I got my labs back, well, some of them, I've been on the new lipid for 3 weeks, the clinolipid, and so my bilirubin went from 10.1 to 7.1. So that is 3 points. That is an improvement, a true improvement. My ALK phos went up, and my ALT and AST stayed the same. But overall, with my bilirubin going down some, I consider that progress. I will wait until the next lab draw and see what happens and see what other progress is made or not made to know whether the lipid change is working, because we still aren't sure the extent TPN plays in my liver problem. So depending on how much it is or isn't contributing will determine whether or not it drastically improves from the lipid change or not.